All right, well, I think that we will get started with class this evening. Welcome, everyone. I'm so glad to see you all here. This is Beginning Yoga, and my name is Amanda McIntire. This is a yoga class that is offered through the OLLI program here at UVM, and this is a sampling of one of our Beginning Yoga 1 classes for you to enjoy in the privacy of your home. This class is intended to be for beginners, so if you have never practiced yoga before, you are watching the right video and you're in the right class. If you've done yoga before, that's great too, but this is intended for folks who this may be your very first time coming to yoga. To prepare for class, make sure that you have a mat with you and that you're wearing some loose-fitting clothes that you can easily move in. Water is nice to have available to you, and also I like to utilize a yoga block. You don't have to use it, but it's really a wonderful tool, and we will be using one during class today. The only goal that you have in class today is to feel better at the end of our hour together than you did at the beginning of class. So really no pressure. This is not about doing the postures perfectly. It's about doing the best that you can in your own body to make yourself feel better for the end of our class. Yoga can be a little bit intimidating to folks, especially to beginners, because they think of people in kind of pretzel sorts of configurations. And while certainly there is a lot of elements of movement and flexibility in yoga, it's so much more than that. The word yoga means union. It literally means yoke, but it means union, or creating a connection between the mind and the body and the spirit. And it's a series of practices. So while most of the yoga that we're familiar with has to do with the physical postures that we'll do a bunch of in class today, there's a lot more to it, including meditation and breath work, along with other pieces of the philosophy, observances and abstentions, which are really all about coming together to connect us to ourselves and ultimately connect ourselves to the present moment. That's what yoga is all about. When we connect to ourselves, that's when we're able to really be present and mindful. So there are lots of things that we can do that we might consider yoga, but if we're not actually really connected to ourselves and our breath, then perhaps it might be something more like calisthenics or dance, which is also really wonderful for the body. But yoga connects all of these different elements. So I invite you as you go through class today to really tap into your breath and find a connection with yourself. Now, the only rules I have for this class are that you really be kind to yourself and that you listen to your body. I want you to have a good time. I want you to be safe and comfortable in the practice. So if something doesn't feel quite right, do feel free to make adjustments and do something that does feel good for yourself. So be kind in the body and in the mind. Do what works best for you. And don't worry about it. This is just yoga. We're here to have fun and feel good, so don't take yourselves too seriously and enjoy your practice. We'll begin as we typically do in a seated position, sitting up nice and tall. I enjoy sitting on a block because I like having my knees go below my hips, but you can sit directly on the mat, or sometimes a folded blanket feels nice. When we sit, the most important part is to have a nice long spine. So lining up the shoulders over the hips and tucking the chin in a little bit so that the ears are lined up over the shoulders. Traditionally in yoga, the seated posture is this cross-legged seat that I'm demonstrating right now. But this is inherently an uncomfortable posture for many of us, and ironically in yoga they call this easy pose, but it's not always so easy. So if crossing your legs is uncomfortable or becomes uncomfortable to you, you can feel free to adjust and find something that perhaps works a little bit better with your legs tonight. So find your seat sitting up nice and tall, whatever that might look like to you this evening. Your hands are on your knees or on your thighs so that the shoulders can just relax down on the back. Close your eyes. Soften the muscles of your face. And begin to connect with your breath. In yoga, we typically breathe through the nose. Certainly, if your nose is clogged, feel free to breathe through the mouth. But begin by just observing your breath right now. This may be the first time today that you even noticed that you were breathing. See if you can begin to slow your breathing down, lengthening your inhales, lengthening your exhales. Do your best to clear your mind, focusing just on your breath. In yoga, we call breath work pranayama, and it means just moving energy throughout the body. The breath can be used to energize us. It can be used to calm the mind and the nervous system. And in the yoga practice, it allows us to go more deeply into postures. It can also tell us when maybe we're going a little further into our practice than we should if our breathing becomes compromised. With every inhale, sit up a little bit taller, a little bit brighter in your seat. With every exhale, allow yourself to arrive on your mat and in class tonight. Give yourself permission to be here. You've made an effort to show up in class with your mat, ready for yoga, and that's a big deal. So make a commitment that for the rest of this time together, we'll do our best to block out any distractions, keeping the focus just on the breath and on yourself. Take another full round of breath. Keep sitting up nice and tall, and on your next exhale, gently allow your eyes to flutter open. Keep sitting up nice and tall, shoulders are relaxed on the back. Extend out through the right fingertips, so arm is at a diagonal. Gently tip your left ear towards the left shoulder, and then take the left hand and place it on the side of the head so the fingertips are just grazing the top of the ear. Allow the weight of the left arm to open up the right side of the body, so no need to pull. Just breathe. Release the head back to center, release the arm down. Keep sitting up nice and tall, and then we'll do the other side. So extend out through the left fingertips, bring your right ear to the right shoulder, and then place the right hand so that the fingertips are grazing the ear. Really envision extending out through the left fingertips. Breathe into the left side of the neck and shoulder. Exhale to release back to center. Keep sitting up nice and tall. Hands are on your knees. On an inhale, bring the chest forward. Take a look up towards the ceiling. This is a seated cow pose. Back is arched. Next exhale, round your spine. Pull the stomach in. Let your head hang for a seated cat pose. Inhale again, bring the chest forward, take a look up. And then exhale, pull everything in around the spine, tuck the head. And inhale, back up to center. If you're sitting on a block, remove that from underneath you. And arms are down by your sides. Inhale, reach your fingertips up. Shoulders are relaxed. Exhale, gently twist towards the right, bringing your right fingertips behind you and your left hand on the opposite knee. This is just a really gentle twist, so not your deepest twist ever. Inhale your arms back up and come to center. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale and twist towards the left. Left fingertips are behind you to prop you up. Right hand on the opposite knee. Check in with your breath. We're still warming up here. Exhale, make your way back to center. Come onto your hands and knees in a tabletop position. In tabletop, we're lining up the shoulders over the wrists, hips over the knees. Your hands are firmly grounded, and on an inhale, drop the belly, bend the elbows a little bit as you take a look up for cow pose. Next, exhale, press into the hands, straighten the arms, round the back, tuck your head for cat pose. Inhale, drop the belly once again and take a look up. We're opening up the back of the spine. Exhale, press into the hands, tuck your tailbone, tuck your head. Take a couple of breaths here, opening up the back of the shoulder blades, like you're pressing them up towards the ceiling. And then come back to a neutral spine, flat back. And we're pulling in the core here, so tucking in right at the stomach. From here, step your right foot forward to a lunge. Your front knee is going to be lined up over the front ankle. Back knee is still down on the floor. And if you have tender knees, it might feel nice to either use a blanket or to fold over the mat for a little added cushioning. So get nice and stable here and bring your hands up to your front thigh. If you're feeling a little wobbly, try squeezing the thighs together. That's going to help. Engage in the core and then inhale, reach your fingertips up overhead. Nice. Keep squeezing the thighs together. Now you can stay here, or you can shift the weight in the hips forward a little bit, and that's going to help open up this left quad and hip flexor. Keep breathing. And if you're feeling a nice opening in the left side, focus your breath there. Exhale, bring your fingertips down towards the floor. Shift your hips up and back so the hips are lined up over the back knee. Flex your right toes up towards the ceiling for a runner's stretch. Your front leg is straight, and if you have to actually grab the leg to straighten it out a little bit, that's totally fine. But keep the right toes flexed up towards the ceiling and the body extended over the leg. Keep breathing into the back of the hamstring. Exhale to come forward, lining up the knee over the ankle once again. Left hand goes on the mat. Reach your right arm up for a twist. Exhale to lower your right hand down and bring the knee back so you're back to tabletop. And we'll step the left foot forward for a lunge on the other side. And again, take care of the knees. And maybe it's just one knee that's bothering you, so cushion it if you need to. Line up the front knee over the front ankle, and then bring your hand to the front thigh. Remember, squeeze the thighs together and engage in the core. So tuck your belly in, point your tailbone towards the floor, and then inhale, reach your fingertips up. Nice. Keep the shoulders relaxed so they're away from the ears. And then you can either stay right here, or for an added stretch, shift the weight in your hips forward a little bit so you're opening up this right quad and hip flexor. Shoulders relaxed. Exhale the hands back down. Shift the hips up and back so the hip is lined up over the back knee. Flex your left toes up towards the ceiling. Grab a hold of the back of the calf if you need to straighten the leg. This is called flying half monkey pose, or Ardha Hanumanasana in Sanskrit. Next, exhale, come forward so you're bending into the front knee. Once again, lining it up over the front ankle. Right hand is on the floor. Extend the left arm up for a twist. Really reaching through the left fingertips. Full breaths. Exhale your left hand back down, and then bring the knee back to tabletop and come up to standing on your knees. Again, if you need to fold the mat over or cushion the knees, go for it, but begin by standing up nice and tall on the knees. Shoulders are on the back. Extend your right foot out to the side, and it can either be parallel or pointing straight out, whatever feels good. Up nice and tall, gently allow the right fingertips to drape down the leg as you extend the left arm up overhead, opening up the left side of the body. Bring your left hand to your hip and extend the right arm out overhead, creating a diagonal line from the lifted fingers to the extended foot. This is gate pose. Exhale, back through center, right fingertips down the leg, extend the left arm up overhead. Use your breath to create space on the left side of the body. Exhale through center, bring your left fingertips towards the floor and extend your right arm over to the side. And then exhale, come back up to center. Nice job. We'll switch sides, so bring the knee in and extend the left leg out. And again, you decide if you want your foot pointing straight ahead or out to the side. Hips and shoulders are facing the top of the mat. Gently bring the left fingertips down the leg as you reach the right arm up overhead. Bring your right hand to your hip. Extend the left arm over to the other side. Nice diagonal line. Keep the shoulder relaxed. Exhale through center, and once again, reaching the right arm up and over. And then exhale, come through center, bring the right fingertips to the floor, or you can also use a block if you would like, and extend the left arm up overhead. For those of you who are new to yoga, blocks are a great way to get the body a little closer to the floor. Exhale and bring yourself back up to center. Bring your knees back, and we're gonna come back to a child's pose. So bring your hands to the mat, bring your hips back towards your heels, and we're bringing the forehead towards the mat as the arms are extended out. See if you can find some comfort in child's pose. So that may mean that you want to have your knees go a little bit wider, perhaps. Maybe it feels good to have your hips up a little bit higher. Yoga is different for all of us. We all have different bodies and different aches and pains at different points in time. Yoga helps us tune into those things and make them feel better. Gently make your way back up to a tabletop position. Walk your knees back just a little bit. Tuck your toes, and we're going to lift our hips up and back for downward facing dog. So downward dog is a pretty quintessential yoga posture. Your hands are shoulder width apart, and they're firmly pressing into the mat with the creases of your wrists parallel to the front of the mat. Your feet are hips distance apart, and you're lifting the hips up and back, creating a nice sort of a triangle shape with the body. Your gaze is on the mat underneath you. Pedal your feet out a little bit here, so alternate bringing each heel towards the floor, just to wake up the backs of the legs. And then come to stillness with the legs. And one of the biggest questions in down dog is, are my hands and feet in the right place? So to find that out, we're going to glide forward to plank, which is the top of a push-up. So shift your weight forward so that the shoulders are lined up over the wrists. And if you have to scoot your toes back a little bit so you're actually in a push-up position, that's fine. Go for it. That also meant your down dog might have been a little short. So keep your hands and feet in the same place and inhale the hips up and back to downward dog. Wonderful. So the most important piece to downward dog is having a nice long spine. So don't worry about whether your heels are near the floor or not. Not to worry, just lengthen the spine. And then from here, walk your feet up towards your hands, coming to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Your feet are hips distance apart and grounded into the floor. Grab opposite elbows. And certainly have a bend to the knees if you're feeling tight in the backs of the legs. Release your head and gently rock the torso from side to side. Keep the hips facing straight ahead. Come to stillness, release the elbows, and let your head hang loose and just gently shake it yes and no. Come to stillness with your head, strong in your feet. Inhale, bend the knees, arms reach wide up overhead, palms connect, and exhale through heart center. Nice job. Make your way up to the top of your mat if you're not there already. Feet are hips distance apart and parallel, and our hips are actually lined up with these hip bones right here. So it goes hips, knees, and then second toe. Stand up nice and tall, place your hands on your hips. We're gonna engage our core by bending the knees, and then you're gonna stick your butt out a little bit, creating a nice low back curve, and then scoop the pelvis so the tailbone's pointed towards the floor. Nice and strong in the center. Maintain that as you straighten the legs. Release your arms down by your sides and find a softness in the shoulders. Close your eyes and extend up through the crown of your head. So this is sort of an energetic idea. You're facing straight ahead, but lifting up through the top of the head so there's lots of space on both sides of the neck. Gently open the eyes. Inhale, reach your fingertips up. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Exhale, swan dive. Fold all the way forward, Uttanasana. Again, if you have to have a little bend in the knees, go for it. Inhale up halfway to a flat back, bringing your hands to your thighs or shins. Keep your elbows tucked in and your gaze at the floor. And then exhale to lower back down. Press into the feet. Inhale, arms reach wide up overhead. Shoulders relaxed. Clasp your hands and press the palms up towards the ceiling, but keep a lot of space in between your ears and your shoulders. So you've got a nice kind of frame around the head. Keep both feet firmly rooted. Your gaze is straight ahead, so you have a nice long neck. And then we're going to gently inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale over to the right. Little side bend. Opening up the left side of the body. Inhale back up to center. And exhale over to the other side. Keep some space between the ears and the shoulders. Inhale back up to center. Release the hands, reach them up high. Remember, your core is engaged. Do a little bit of a back bend. So open the chest up towards the ceiling. And then exhale to fold all the way down. From here, step your right foot back to a lunge. So the right foot steps straight back, hips are square to the front of the mat, and your front knee is lined up over the front ankle. Lots of energy through the back leg. And from here, you're going to plant your right hand on the floor, or you can use your block and extend the left arm up for a twist. Again, if you don't have a block, totally fine. But if you do, it's kind of fun to feel the difference in the posture, whether you're close to the floor or not. Exhale your lifted hand back down. And from here, step back to plank, top of a push-up. Steady breath here. So one of the great things about the yoga practice is that you are in control, particularly when we get into postures like this. So make sure that you're breathing and that you're taking care of yourself here. If you need to drop your knees to the floor, that's perfectly fine. If that's what you need, do it. If you need a little extra push to keep holding this plank, keep holding the plank. Steady breath. Everyone lower your knees now. Point your toes and bring your body all the way down to the floor so that you're laying flat on the mat. Your legs are straight behind you, hands under the shoulders. Inhale, lift your chest and shoulders up for cobra pose. Keep your elbows tucked in, strong through the belly. Exhale to lower back down. Tuck your toes, make your way through tabletop, and then up and back to downward dog. Take your time to get there. And again, make sure your hands are firmly connected to the mat. And remember that little trick with gliding forward to plank to make sure your hands and feet are in the right place. If you think you need to check that out. Steady breath here. And then starting with your right foot, walk your way up to the top of your mat, coming to a forward fold. Strong in your feet, inhale, arms reach wide up overhead. And exhale your hands through heart center. Nice job. Find your mountain pose once again. Inhale and reach up. Again, a little bit of a back bend, open the chest up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, fold all the way down. Step your left foot back to a lunge. And get nice and solid here. So yoga is all about mindfulness and getting connected to yourself. So every movement has intention. Make sure your front knee is lined up over the front ankle. There's lots of energy in the back leg. And then from here, plant your left hand on the floor or onto block as you extend your right arm up for a twist. Stay steady in your breathing. Keep squeezing everything into the middle. So squeezing the thighs in, squeezing the belly in. Exhale the right hand back down and make your way back to plank, top of a push-up. Every muscle engaged here from your toes all the way to your nose. Steady breath. And then lower the knees, point the toes, using the strength in your arms, come all the way down to the mat. Release your arms down by your sides with your palms face up. Keep the tops of your feet connected to the floor and engage your stomach here. So we're pulling in the belly and we're pointing the tailbone towards our heels. So we're nice and strong in the middle. On your next exhale, lift your chest and shoulders up off the mat. Keep your feet connected to the floor. And make sure you're breathing. Steady, and exhale, lower back down. Bring your hands underneath your shoulders, tuck your toes, and make your way through tabletop position and back to downward facing dog. Pedal the feet out a little bit here, once again, alternating, bringing each heel towards the floor. Come to stillness with the legs, and then starting with your left foot, walk your way up to the top of your mat, coming to a forward fold. Feet are firmly planted. Place your hands on your hips. Inhale, come on up to standing. Nice. Make sure you have your block up at the top of your mat, ready to go. And from here, we're going to step our right foot back for Warrior Two. So in Warrior Two, we're going to use the majority of the mat. Even if you have petite little legs, you're going to use up the entire space here. The back foot is parallel to the back of the mat, and the front heel is lined up with the back arch. Our hips and shoulders are facing the long edge of the mat, and you gently bend into the front knee. We're working towards lining up the front knee and ankle. Inhale your arms up to a T, and then keep everything just as it is and turn just your head to look over your front hand, which is your left hand. Nice. So think about actively pressing into your feet here. So you're actively standing, strong, holding yourself up. Lots of energy through the fingertips. Shoulders are relaxed, face is relaxed. Nice. From here, we're going to come forward, grabbing the block, placing it on the big toe side of the foot, and we're going to extend the right arm over the top of our heads, over the top of the mat for side angle pose. So this is sort of like that gate pose we did at the beginning, a diagonal line from the lifted fingers to the back foot. Strong in the legs, come back up to Warrior Two. Whew, nice job. Get steady here. And then straighten the front leg. We're going to start to hinge forward for triangle pose. We're going down with the left hand, grab the block. It goes on the pinky toe side of your foot as you extend the right hand up towards the ceiling. If you tend to lock your knees out, bring a little soft bend to the knees. And your gaze can either be at the floor, you can look over to the side, or you can take a look up towards your thumb for an added challenge. But you decide what feels good for your balance and for your neck. Strong in the feet, come back up to Warrior Two. Nice job. Release the hands. Pivot the feet so that they are parallel to the edges of your mat. Grab your block so that you have it in front of you. Place your hands on your hips and exhale forward to a flat back. So we're beginning by engaging the core, gaze is towards the floor, and we're extending out through the crown of the head and the tailbone. And then from here, plant the right hand on the block and extend the left arm up for a twist. And part of what's really cool about these blocks is they're three-dimensional, so your choice as to what feels best in your body today. Exhale the lifted hand down, and we'll switch sides. Left hand on the block, right fingertips are raised. Exhale, lower the right hand back down, and then fold all the way forward, as far forward as feels comfortable for you. Bring your hands to your hips, strong in your feet. Come all the way up to standing. And then kick off the back foot. Come on up to the top of your mat. Find your mountain pose again. If you have to wiggle a little bit, shake it out. Stand up nice and tall. And then we'll step our left foot back for warrior two on the other side. Remember to have your block at the ready at the top of your mat. So we're using the majority of the mat once again. Back foot is parallel to the back of the mat. Front heel is lined up with the back arch. Hips and shoulders are facing the side. And you'll inhale your arms up to a T. Keep the shoulders on the back and keep the core engaged here. Tailbone pointed towards the floor. Maintain all that stuff and then turn just your head so that you're looking out over your front hand. Nice. Relax the shoulders a little bit. And just take a look down at this front knee. Make sure that the knee isn't blocking your view of your big toe. And if it is, open the knee out towards your second or third toe a little bit to get a nice hip opener. Nice job. From here, we're going to come forward, grab the block, place it on the big toe side of the foot as you extend the left arm over your head. Keep the left shoulder relaxed. Strong in the feet. Come back up to warrior two. Nice job. Keep squeezing in at the legs. And then straighten the front leg. We're going to start to hinge forward and bring the right hand to the block, placing it on the pinky toe side of the foot and extending the left arm up. Again, remember, you can do whatever width on the block you would prefer. Strong in the feet. Come back up to warrior two. And then release the hands, pivot your feet so that they're at a 45-degree angle. So the toes are pointing to the corners of the mat. Bring your feet in just a little bit so you're not in too wide of a stance. Place your hands on your hips and come into a squat. Now in yoga, when we're going into a squat, we want the knees to line up with the toes. That means we're being really kind to our knees. Strong in the core, tailbone is pointed towards the floor. Bring your arms up to a 90-degree angle for goddess pose. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Think tailbone pointed towards the floor here. So really strong in the core and in the thighs. Check in with your breath. Maybe see if you can go a little deeper. And if you're like, I don't think I need to go any deeper, that's fine too. Check in with yourself. Do what you think is best for you. Inhale to straighten the legs, straighten the arms, and bring them out to a T. Palms are facing straight ahead, thumbs are up, strong in the core, little bit of a back bend, opening the chest up towards the ceiling. Bring a little bend to the knees if they're locked right now. Exhale back to center. Place your hands on your hips and come on up to the top of your mat. Nice job. You can set your block off to the side if it's on your mat. And find your mountain once again. Arms down by your sides. Reconnect with yourself here. Find that connection between mind and body and spirit. Find yourself right here, right now. Gently allow your eyes to open. Inhale, reach the fingertips up. And exhale to fold all the way down. Step your right foot back to a lunge. Hips are square to the front of the mat. Bring your hand to your front knee. Back heel is lifted, And remember, we want the hips square, and if you have to scoot the back foot in a little bit, that is okay. Keep squeezing everything into the middle, and then inhale your arms up. We're lining up the shoulders over the hips. Relax the shoulders down from the ears. Nice, really nice job. And then on our next exhale, we're going to twist towards the left. So your right hand is coming in front of you, and your left hand is coming behind you. Keep squeezing everything together. Nice job. Inhale your arms back up to center. And then exhale, bring your hands down towards the floor and make your way back to a downward facing dog. If you have to come to your knees first to do that, that's fine. Take your time and find your downward facing dog. Inhale your right leg up for three-legged dog. So this is just like down dog, but with one leg lifted. You're lifting from your inner right thigh, and your right foot is flexed so that the hips stay level. Lower the right foot down and walk your way up to the top of your mat, coming to a forward fold. Press into the feet. Inhale, arms reach wide up overhead. Exhale your hands through heart center. Make sure your feet are hips distance and parallel, nice and strong. Inhale to reach up, shoulders relaxed, core is tucked in. Exhale to fold all the way down. Step your left foot back to a lunge. Get yourself nice and steady here. You know where we're going. So hips are square, strong in the legs. Bring your hands to your front thigh. Nice. Engage the core, tuck the tailbone, and we'll line up the shoulders and hips as we inhale the arms up overhead. Keep squeezing everything into the center. Nice job. Next exhale, gently twist towards the right. No worries if there's any wobbling. Just keep breathing and hugging everything in. Inhale your arms back up to center. Yes, keep squeezing. Exhale, bring your hands back down to the mat and make your way back to downward facing dog, however makes sense for you. Pedal the feet out a little bit here. Come to stillness and then inhale the left leg up for three-legged dog on this side. Keep the weight evenly distributed between both hands. Keep pressing through the sole of the left foot. Lower the left foot back down and walk your way up to the top of your mat, coming to a forward fold. Place your hands on your hips, ground down into your feet, and come all the way up. Nice job. So have your feet wider than hips distance apart. Let's shake it out a little bit with some empty coat sleeves. Let your arms be heavy. Let your heels be free, and we're just kind of realigning the body, shaking it up a little bit. This is a posture that stimulates and calms the nervous system at the same time, which is pretty amazing. And then release the effort and allow momentum to bring you back to center. Nice. Make your way up to the top of your mat. And there is nothing that gets us more connected to ourselves than balancing. And balancing is one of these things that can come and go at any given point in time, whether it's a moment in the day, whether it's a moment in our lives. But it's something that we can always practice and improve upon. And it's a really great opportunity to kind of turn our thinking around a little bit, because oftentimes when we get into balances, we start to panic. My foot's a little bit wobbly. I should have been able to. I used to be able to. Why can't I? All these things, which is really, really natural. It's like all the typical human stuff to come up. But how come we don't say, oh my gosh, I'm trying to balance on one foot. Good for me. I'm getting a little bit better at this. Why aren't we more encouraging to ourselves? So, in addition to the challenge of balancing today, I also want to invite you into the challenge of some positive self-talk as we go through it. At least give yourself a little encouragement and don't say anything you wouldn't say to your neighbor internally to yourself. So, a couple of tips with balancing. 1, make sure you stand up nice and tall. 2, make sure that you breathe. And 3, make sure you find a fixed point for your gaze. So don't look at anything that's moving. It might be helpful to find a spot behind me on the floor or on the wall. Keep your gaze right on that point. It's called a drishti, and it will help you through your balance. So start by standing up nice and tall, nice long spine. Begin grounding into your left foot, shifting your weight, and seeing if you can get your right foot off of the floor. Flex the right foot, that'll help with the balance, and if you can, perhaps bring your knee up towards your chest. So we're lifting the right knee up in front if you can. Stay really strong in the left leg. And if you're able to get your right knee up, bring your hands around the shin, pull the knee a little closer into the body, and bring the shoulders down on the back. So it's kind of interesting once you actually are able to get your hands around the shin, because you're connected to yourself, and it actually provides some additional stability that you might not expect. Make sure that you're breathing steadily, and again, remember, really encouraging thoughts here. If you're holding on to the knee, bring your hands to your hips, or actually everyone bring your hands to your hips. As you exhale, lower the foot back down with control and shake it out a little bit. Nice job, everybody. That was really, really fantastic. And I forgot to mention how important it is to remember that there are different elements to building into balancing postures, especially these one-legged standing postures. So while the final expression of this particular posture today looks like this, if you're working on getting your foot off the floor, doing that weight shifting, that's awesome. Keep working on that, and remember to breathe and stand up nice and tall. We have 2 sides, so let's see what the other side has in store for us today. So stand up nice and tall, make sure that right foot is firmly grounded, begin to shift your weight, and inhale, perhaps getting the left knee up towards your chest, left foot is flexed. Stay grounded in the right foot. And if you're able to, wrap your hands around the shin, keeping the shoulders on the back, and maybe finding a little extra traction here as you connect to yourself. Breath is steady, and remember there's lots of different options. Everyone bring your hands to your hips, and with control, lower your foot down and shake it out a little bit. So we will do one more balancing posture because we couldn't possibly go through class without doing a little bit of tree pose. And I'm going to demonstrate tree pose because it is, again, one of these balance postures that has all these great little elements to it that can fit any yogi at any point in time. So I will demo it and then I'll talk everybody through it. But tree pose, we stand up nice and tall. It's Vriksasana in Sanskrit. And tree pose can look something like this, where the sole of the foot is against the ankle, and I'm also pressing my ankle into the foot. This is a pretty awesome tree. If you're able to do this and you feel pretty stable with this version of tree, then maybe you'll be able to bring your foot on the inside of the calf. Again, I'm pushing my leg into the foot and my foot into the leg. If you're feeling really stable here, maybe you can grab the foot and place it on the inside of the thigh. Notice I skipped my knee as an option. So we want to avoid placement of the foot on the knee joint. And again, you press the leg into the foot, foot into the leg, wherever makes sense for you. All right, we're going to try it out. Be kind to yourself. Find your feet rooted in your mat. Stand up nice and tall and begin to shift weight into your left foot and bring your right foot wherever makes sense for you. So it might be in more of a kickstand, sort of a ballet posture. Perhaps it's on the inner calf. That's where I'm feeling most comfortable today. When you find where you think your tree is going to be today, bring your palms together at your heart. This gesture is not only honoring one another, but it also connects both halves of the brain, which is really helpful in balancing. From here, begin to inhale your arms up overhead, growing your branches. Stay really strong and steady in the left foot. If you find that you're swaying, that is perfect. We need our trees to sway, otherwise they will break. Keep reaching up through the fingertips. Bring your palms together above your head. Exhale your hands through heart center. As with everything in yoga, very mindfully bring the knee forward and exhale the foot down to the mat and shake it out. Wonderful. So one more side before we start to cool it down a little bit. See what the right side has to bring. So find yourself standing up nice and tall, right foot especially rooted into the mat. And then begin to pour your weight into the right foot, freeing the left foot and placing it wherever makes sense on this side. Did I mention your balance can change from side to side too? When you find your tree, bring your palms together at your heart. And then gently begin to grow your branches, keeping the shoulders relaxed. And if you fall out of the posture, just bring yourself back in. To fall out of a yoga posture is definitely human, and to get back into it means that you're a yogi. Bring your palms together above your head, exhale them through heart center, and then bring the knee forward, release your foot down to the mat, shake out the hips a little bit. Nice job. Find your mountain pose one more time, top of your mat, nice and tall and strong, connected to yourself, to your breath, and to the moment. Inhale your fingertips up overhead, shoulders relaxed, a little bit of a back bend, open the chest up towards the ceiling. Exhale and fold all the way down. Walk your way back to a downward facing dog. And then bring your knees down to the floor, shift your hips back, and find a child's pose. Take a moment to reconnect with yourself here after all of the balancing. Gently make your way back up to tabletop, and then we're going to scoot around, coming to a seat on the mat. Extend your right leg straight out to the side and bring the sole of your left foot on the inside of the right thigh. Make sure you're sitting up nice and tall so your weight is evenly distributed between both hips. And then we're going to twist the torso so that it's lined up with the extended leg. And as you exhale, hinge forward at the hips. And take your left hand and reach for the opposite side of the foot. So you're reaching for the pinky toe side of your right foot or ankle or shin, whatever is accessible for you. Inhale, back up to center. Bring your left fingertips behind you and your right hand on the bent knee. Sit up nice and tall and then twist from the base of the spine with your head as the last thing to twist. Keep your hand on the bent knee as you unwind. Inhale the left arm up overhead and reach for the extended foot. And no worries about how close or how far away your foot is from your hand. The idea in this posture is to keep both hips firmly rooted and have a nice opening on the left side of the body. Inhale, back up to center, and we're going to switch sides. So extend your left leg out and bring the sole of the right foot on the inner thigh. Again, make sure that you're evenly distributed in the weight in your hips. Turn your torso towards the left leg, and then exhale and hinge forward. Right hand goes on the pinky toe side of the foot, ankle, shin, whatever makes sense. With every inhale, lengthen the spine, and as you exhale, sink a little bit deeper. Inhale your way back up to center. Bring your right fingertips behind you and your left hand on the bent knee. Sit up nice and tall, and as you exhale, twist from the base of the spine. With every exhale, twisting a little bit deeper, if that feels good for you. Begin to unwind, but keep the left hand on the bent knee. Inhale the right arm up overhead, reaching for the extended foot. And inhale, back up to center. Nice job. Place your knees flat on the floor. Knees are bent. Grab a hold of the backs of the thighs and sit up nice and tall. Spine is nice and long. Strong in your core. See if you can get your feet up off of the floor for boat pose. This is all coming from the core, so try to keep the spine long, stomach engaged. And then if you can, maybe bring your shins parallel to the floor. Nice. Now, if you want a little added challenge, you can release your hands from behind your thighs. If you're wondering why you would want an added challenge, keep holding on and just keep breathing. That's totally fine too. Wherever you are, steady breath, soft face. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Another breath. And release. Cross the legs, place your hands on your knees, close your eyes for just a moment as you sit up nice and tall. Close your eyes, bend the knees once again, feet flat on the floor, grab a hold of the back of the thighs, strong in the core. Exhale, tip back and lift the feet up off of the mat, maybe bringing the shins parallel. And if you'd like, you can extend the arms out. Keep the shoulders relaxed. If you feel a little burning in the stomach, excellent, keep breathing. Exhale, release your feet down to the floor. From here, gently make your way onto your back. And you're going to lay all the way down. Knees are bent with your feet flat on the floor. Arms are down by your sides. Feet are hips width apart and parallel. Walk your feet in towards your body just a little bit. Arms are down by your sides with your palms face down. Feet are firmly rooted. Press into the feet. Lift the hips up for bridge pose. Setu Bandhasana. Keep the gaze up towards the ceiling. And if you're feeling really open, you can always try rolling your outer upper arms underneath you, clasping the hands, if that feels good for you. But you get to decide what works best for you in this posture. If your hands are clasped, unclasp them, and then everyone, vertebra by vertebra, lower yourselves back down onto the mat. Once your hips connect with the floor, bring your knees into your chest. Gently rock from side to side, just massaging the low back and spine. Wrap your hands around your right knee and extend the left leg straight out on the mat. Keep the left leg just really relaxed, so no effort in the left leg, but gently pull the right knee in towards your chest. And then straighten the right leg, wrapping your hands around the back of the right thigh. Press the thigh into your hands to open up the back of the knee and flex through the sole of the right foot. Relax the foot and then do some circles with the ankle. And switch directions. Come to stillness with the foot. Flex through the sole of the right foot one more time. Walk your fingertips up, perhaps to the knee or calf or up to the ankle. Pull the leg a little closer to the body. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. Bend the right knee into your chest one more time. Give it a nice squeeze. And then exhale, release it next to the left leg and pull the left knee into your chest. Wrap your hands around the left shin. Focus on the right leg for just a moment. Just relax it. So just think about letting go, no tension, a really relaxed right leg. And then pull the left knee a little closer in towards the shoulder. Straighten the left leg. Wrap your hands around the back of the left thigh as you flex the foot up towards the ceiling. Make sure you're breathing. And then do some circles with the ankle. and switch directions if you haven't already. Come to stillness with the foot, and then walk your fingers up as high as it'll go, up towards the shin or ankle, and pull the leg a little closer to the body. Bend the left knee, pull it in towards the chest one more time, squeezing it in. And then release the left leg and place it next to the right. And again, just focus on both legs. Allow them to just relax. Bring the soles of your feet together and let your knees go wide. So the pinky toes are against the mat. Gravity is opening the knees. Your arms are down by your sides with your palms face up for reclined bound angle pose. And this posture is always an option for our very final posture, which is Shavasana. Using your hands, gently guide the knees back together so your feet are flat on the floor, and then heel-toe your feet out to the edges of the mat and let your knees fall in on one another. And in this posture, we're releasing tension from the low back, so the legs should be supporting one another. If they're not, you might want to walk your feet a little closer towards your body, maybe turn your toes in towards each other. Again, arms down by your sides, relaxed. This is another Shavasana option. Bring your knees into your chest for one final squeeze. And then grab the pinky toe side of each foot for happy baby pose or Ananda Balasana. Your arms are on the insides of your knees. Your knees are bent pretty deeply. Gently rock from side to massage your spine and your low back. And you decide how wide you want your feet to be or how close together you'd like them. Come to stillness and release your feet back down to the mat. And from here, we'll move into our final posture, which is Shavasana. And you can either take the first variation with the feet together and the knees wide if you would like. You can have your knees together and your feet wide. Or you can take a traditional Shavasana where your legs are extended straight out on the mat. Your feet are mat width apart, and you just let your feet fall open to the sides. Your shoulders are gently tucked on your back, and your arms are down by your sides with your palms face up. Your eyes are closed. And this is the final resting posture for our practice. Soften the muscles of your face, relaxing your brow and your jaw. Take this time to really feel the effects of all of your work, all of your breath, all of your connection to yourself throughout class today. I will ring a bell to end this time, but for now, this is yours. So relax and rest. There's no more effort. Slowly allow your breath to deepen. And bring a little bit of movement back to your toes and to your fingers. So just wiggle your toes and fingers just a little bit, waking up the nervous system. On your next inhale, reach your arms up overhead, nice and long. Stretch your legs out for one long final stretch, all the way from your fingertips to your toes. Bring your knees into your chest and gently roll onto your right side. Enjoy the support of the floor for one more moment. Keeping your eyes closed and using as little effort as possible, make your way up to a seat, sitting up nice and tall as we did in the beginning. And bring your palms together at your heart, bringing your thumbs to your sternum to your thumbs, and just bowing the head ever so slightly. I thank you for joining us for the OLLI Beginning Yoga 1 class. I hope that you've met your goal of feeling better at the end of class than you did at the very beginning, and perhaps you've begun to find a bit of this mind, body, and spirit connection. I do hope that you'll join us again. The light in me honors and acknowledges the light in each of you with great respect. Namaste.